Oh, it's good to see all of...
What is it, Maestro Tritime?
I feel some unusual phonons.
What are you talking about?
That, I suspect.
This sword?
I felt the first phonon in it from the moment we got it, but it's been growing stronger day by day.
Where did you find this sword?
The Megiora Highlands. It was stuck in a monster's back.
Maestro, is there something about this sword?
Well, I suppose at this point I can talk about it. That sword is said to be one of the catalysts of the planetary phonic art.
Planetary phonic art? What is that?
An immense phonic art that was proposed in the Dawn Age. It was never actually put to use, though. The phonic war ended before it could be, or so I've heard.
Yes, records of the art were found in Yulia City. The previous phone master, Evanos, secretly undertook a plan to revive it.
And he needed the sword for that?
Yes, 3 weapons with the power of Rem, and 3 with the power of Shadow. These are required for the planetary phonic art, in theory anyway.
That sure is vague.
To be honest, we don't know the details. The Oracle Knight responsible for overseeing the plan destroyed the records and left the Order. And Evanos has passed away as well.
That's too bad. It sounds like a really powerful art. Battles would be so easy if the Colonel could use it.
Perhaps it would be useful. Go to Ketterberg, then. The former Oracle Knight has reportedly passed away, but you may still be able to learn something.
What was that Oracle Knight's name?
Locrian Colonel Gelda Nebulim.
Nebulum. I could swear I've heard that somewhere.
We don't need any planetary phonic art. Even without it, Jade's still ridiculously strong.
Luke, what are you hiding?
Jade...
Well, if you deem it necessary, I have no objection to visiting Ketterberg.
The two of you are certainly acting strangely.
An Oracle Knight that used to live in Ketterberg? I can look in the records. What was this person's name?
Gelda Nebulum.
Professor Nebulum?
My, did you know her?
Professor Nebulum opened a private school here after leaving the Order. I studied under her, as did my brother.
Colonel, you did know her, didn't you?
And you knew too, Luke. That's why you were acting so strangely.
I don't know her!
Don't blame Luke. I told him to keep it a secret. Emperor Peony aside, sharing a classroom with Dist is one of my life's less laudable moments.
Dist aside, Emperor Peony studied under her as well?
The Emperor was confined to his mansion, but he would sneak out and just sit in on the class.
Some emperor he is.
So, did this Professor Nebulum leave anything behind?
I've heard that the Malkuth Army's intelligence division collected all of her documents some time ago.
The Malkuth Army? Why?
What's the problem? Jade just has to run in there and ask.
I doubt it'll be that easy. Intelligence divisions are usually independent from the rest of the army.
Well, I suppose we'll just have to ask the Emperor for assistance.
Well, this is a surprise. Did you come to visit my Rapigs? Adorable, aren't they?
We'll save your Majesty's Rapigs for another time. Guy, if you would explain.
Me? Why do I always have to explain things?
Professor Nebulum, huh? My dad was still on the throne then, so I don't know much about it. Anyway, I'll get the intelligence division to submit the information. I'll have it sent to your office, Jade.
Do you hear something?
Yes. This sounds like phonon interference.
Now that you mention it... It's the 1st and 6th phonons!
That's odd. It's coming from somewhere in this room.
Maybe it's a phonon bomb.
Hey, that's not funny.
Come on, let's look for it.
This is it. The sound is coming from this sword.
It looks like it's reacting to the shadow sword we have. Tyr, would you use a phonic seal on it?
What is this sword, Your Majesty?
Old McGovern left it behind when he retired from the army. I collect weapons, so he left it here for me.
Jade, do you think this is one of the planetary phonic art catalysts?
I presume so, but to call this mess a collection...
Did you say something?
Not at all. Incidentally, would it be possible to borrow this sword?
I suppose that if those 3 cute girls begged a little...
That's a fine case of sexual harassment.
Okay, then you guys do it too. Go ahead, Luke.
Me? Please lend us the sword.
Next.
With all due respect, we would like to borrow the sword.
Next.
Emperor Peony, you're so handsome. Can we please borrow the sword? Pretty please, with sugar on top.
Great, great. Just wait until you're 6 years older and I'll date you anytime.
Whoa, he sure changed fast.
Please lend us the sword.
Oh, that icy smile. Yeah.
Me too? Your Majesty, would you please allow us to borrow the sword?
Oh, that hint of naivete. Yes.
Your Majesty.
Shut up. Don't beg. I'll puke.
Now, Your Majesty. Please allow me to offer my most sincere request.
Nope. Leave.
How unfortunate. We'll be taking the sword then.
Colonel, some documents have been delivered from the Intelligence Division.
Thank you. Now, let's see.
What do they say?
There's information on the professor's life, the incantation for the planetary phonic art, and, a map.
A map?
Yes. This looks like Mount Ronil. It seems there's a phonic glyph beyond the mountain which reacts to the catalysts.
Now that you mention it, Professor Nebulum did go to Mount Ronil a lot, didn't she?
Whoa, what's the Emperor doing here?
His Majesty pays unannounced visits to the Colonel's office frequently.
Well, that explains that.
Well then, shall we head for Mount Ronil?
Not yet. It would probably be best to wait until we have all of the catalysts. By the way, Your Majesty, it seems that there are quite a few sections missing from these documents.
Apparently somebody took them without anyone's knowledge.
Dist?
Probably.
Does it say anything about where the rest of the catalysts are?
Unfortunately, no. Only that they came in pairs, and that the McGovern family had one.
I guess we'll just have to find them the hard way.
That sword. Isn't that the sword I offered to the Emperor?
Yes, we're presently borrowing it because we need it for something. Incidentally, it seems that this sword was one of a pair.
That would be Bloodbane. I've left it to my son now. What do you want with it?
Apparently it's needed for some big planetary phonic art thing.
I see. Well, I don't mind, but...
Is there something that bothers you?
Well, that weapon was once used to seal away a phonist who was ravaging Malkuth.
Seal away? Don't you mean defeat?
The serial phonist killer, correct? As I recall, that was your last battle.
Yes, it was horrible. She destroyed an entire company all by herself. It was a small company, granted, but still.
An entire company destroyed? That sounds like a demon.
And you could only seal her away?
So where'd you seal her?
That's confidential, you fool. What do you think would happen if someone let her out? In any case, it's a dangerous weapon. Be careful with it.